Hey everyone, this is Rachel. Thanks for taking the time to click on my video. Now, I know the video is entitled Story Time, but this is a little bit more of my observations on what's going on in the world today. And I'll start this by saying, do you guys remember when we were younger? And that's for you ones that are a little bit older. When our parents used to talk about we are living in our last days. And they would talk about all the terrible things that are happening in the world and why they felt like that. And we as young people, we would look at them and think this old person is tripping or, they're crazy. And we would kind of turn a deaf ear to them. Well, now I am that older person. I'm 51 now. I have adult children. And I'm just looking around at all of the stuff that's happening in the world today. And in my 51 years, I don't ever remember things being as bad as they are nowadays. And I'm not talking about, just things in my little world. I mean, when I look around, there are catastrophic, storms and hundreds of thousands of people dying, across the globe, and famine and, tornadoes and hurricanes and tsunamis. And, then we have babies killing babies and people just being totally terrible to each other, to their fellow man. You have racism, bigotry, just so much going on in the world. You look at who we have even in America chosen as our people to run for the president of the United States. You have a man that is just so full of just craziness that you don't know what to think. This time that we are living in, when you really sit down and you think about it, it makes you wonder if there is a God, like we've been told, like some of us believe, because I am a Christian and I believe in God. If we do believe in God, as I do, I sometimes wonder, when God looks down at this world that He created, what does He think? I am not a church-going, Bible-thumping person, but there is a higher power that I believe in. I have had too many examples that there's something bigger than me moving in my life. There have been times when I have been the lowest of low, with life or my finances, and I will look around the corner and something absolutely amazing or miraculous will happen. And it was so unexpected, so, needed at the time that I received it, that I can only drop to my knees and thank that higher power that I believe in. I've had times when, life itself is hard, and you wonder if you're doing things right, if you're living right. And there have been times where I've had confirmation. And I said all that to say that even though I don't go to church, even though I can't quote scriptures out of the Bible, I believe in God. I have my personal relationship with that higher power. So I wonder, what does He think? When He looks at all of this stuff that is going on in this world today, what does he think? We hate each other, we kill each other, we rape each other, we beat each other. We put ourselves above one another and tell another person how they're not going to heaven, but I am. And, I just feel that things are so bad nowadays. Whenever there's a storm nowadays, they'll say it is the most crazy, unbelievably bad storm that there ever was. If there's a fire, like how California has those fires, they'll say this is the worst fire in the history of California. This is the worst tsunami ever recorded. This is the worst hurricane. You guys know where I'm going with this. What are we doing here on this earth? What are we doing to each other as mankind? Sometimes, like when I'm driving back from somewhere that I've gone, and you know how when you're on those open stretches of the road and there's nothing but you, maybe you're listening to some music and you got that road stretching out above, ahead of you, but you look up in the sky and it's so blue, and you're just driving and thinking. And you're saying to yourself, what I'm looking at is so beautiful. What I'm seeing, all these birds and, the beauty of the sky and everything. And I tell my kids at times like those, when I'm at peace and I'm just thinking. And it gets me to wondering about these things. Sometimes I look at what's going on in politics, and my sister actually believes that one of our presidential candidates is actually the Antichrist, and it's because of the things that he says, and I believe it's because of the state of the world. And we're getting older and we're starting to say the things that our parents said, and I believe that's where my sister's head is. We are living in our last days. And I don't know if I'll go that far, but what I will say is, when we read the Bible, it says that at one time God got very disgusted with the world that he created. He looked down and he saw all this confusion and hatred and things that was going on in the world, and he decided to destroy it by sending a flood to us. And he recreated the world again, and hoping for, better for the people that were going to inhabit this new world. Well, I'm pretty sure he's looking at us now. And I'm just wondering what his assessment of us is. I want to be one of the people, and I know this is getting really into some areas that may offend people who don't believe in God, but if you believe in the Bible, and again, I can't quote scriptures and all of that, but if I believe in God and I believe in the Bible, and it says that there's going to be a rapture, and you'll be raptured if you are living right, and you know the story, I hope that the way that I am living my life, and the way that I try to be a good person, and I try to live a life that God would approve of it. By no means am I without sin. I'm just like the next person. But I know that in my life, that above anyone, my relationship with God means a lot to me. And because of that, I try to live right. And I try to live by what I believe and what I've been taught are the rules that God gave us to live by. And I'm imperfect. I am not a perfect person. And I try to, when I'm doing wrong, ask God to forgive me and guide me and, all of that. I don't want to get into, all of that. But I did this story time because I'm worried about the world today. I'm worried about what I see, what I read, what I hear, and what we're doing to us, not even here in America, but all over the world. There are kids starving in other countries. Just so much going on. Attacks all around the world, and these people over in the Arab countries hating us, and just all this turmoil in the world. And it worries me. It worries me for my two children. My son, I believe, is past like the draft age, or, if there's ever a war here in America. My daughter is going to be graduating from college in a year or so, like I said. And I wonder what world, when they start their families, what is the world going to be like if it's the way that it is now? It just makes me wonder sometimes. And like I said, this isn't a traditional story time. This is me just, having come back yesterday and just thinking about life and looking at the world. And sometimes you are just blown away by some of the stories that you hear. Like today, I was just sitting, and I've been out of it for the last week or so because I had some issues going on with my health and getting my correct medication. So I've been in a lot of pain the last couple weeks because one of my pain meds, the price of it was unbelievable, so I couldn't get it. So, because I wasn't on it, I was dealing with a lot. And I've since been able to find a place where I can get it from, where it's not as expensive as they wanted me to pay. So I'm back to myself a bit. But just in these last 2 weeks, and just driving home yesterday from dropping my daughter off, I was doing a lot of thinking, and just a little concerned about what's going on in the world. I don't know. I believe in the Bible and the stories that I've been taught, and I did used to go to church when I was younger, so I do have some concept. So what I was thinking is, if God thought that the world was bad before, and I'm pretty sure they weren't any worse than what we see out here in the world today. Think of the stories that you read. People raping babies and killing children, and just, just so much stuff. Just so much stuff. And so I just wonder, where are we going? What will be the outcome of all of this that's going on in the world? And what I say to you guys is, just try to live your life as best as you can, because we all in one way or another sin and do things that we may not necessarily be proud of. And all I can say is I'm just trying to live my life the best that I can and be kind and try to live by what God tells us. And this is if you believe in God, because some of you subscribers of mine or people that are listening to my video, you may not believe in God. I had a family member that when he and I discussed whether there was a God, he said he didn't believe. And when I listened to his argument on why he didn't believe. I didn't try to change his mind. That's his belief. What I can say is when he explained it, I respected his explanation, and I've always respected it. So everyone has their own ideals on whether there is a God. So even that's a debate. But I believe it. And I believe that right now the world is in a terrible place. A terrible place. And it just worries me. And with that, people, I'm just going to get out of here because I could babble on and on and on about this and how little worried I am about it. But it'd be nice to hear what you guys think. And I might be just an older person who has reached midlife and I am just looking around and I have turned into my parents. I am saying to my young folks, you know, we're living in our last days, you know. I have turned into my parents. So sometimes when I feel like this, I have to kind of chuckle because now I am the older person. Ain't that funny, y'all? You know, but I just say, people, God bless you and keep you. And I am the type of person that anyone that I know, I try to say I love them. So for all of you out there who are Christians, and even for those of you who are not, you know, I am taught to love everyone. So anyone who's listening to my voice, I am sending you love and blessings, and keep yourself safe out there because it is a crazy world. So I just say stay safe. And again, thank you for listening to my video, my crazy ramblings. And you guys have a good night. Bye-bye now.